Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Jenkins Boat Works. I am Chuck Jenkins. In this episode, we're going to fix some knot holes in some of the 18-foot strips. Came up with a pretty ingenious idea. January 15th. Got a bit of a snowstorm going on. Blizzard warning just up to the north of us. So anyway, we're here in the boat shop. It's the outdoor wood furnace. So it's pretty warm in here. When we last left, we had put this strip on, and I just pulled the clamps and the tape off of it, and it laid in there pretty good. Pretty happy with it. My next challenge is more strips, and I still have several 18-foot long ones. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 anyway, but they weren't usable. I had a little problem because as clean as these are, there was a couple of places where we had some little knot holes. Now those little knots up there at the very end we need about 17'6", so we'll be able to get away with cutting those off. I came up with what I hope is an ingenious idea. These all came off the board the same way, so the problem was all in the same place. They were right on the edge, right there, where we had a little piece of knot had popped out of there. So what I did is I mixed up some epoxy. Here's the leftover cup from it. And then I thickened it with cedar sawdust. I just pulled this out of the dust collector, and it's real fine. So it gave me a good coloration. I did use a little bit of the Total Boat silica thickener. And I just mixed it up, and I took some little pieces of tape, and I put them on the underside like that, and then hard against the edge like that. And then once I got my thickened epoxy, I put it in there and just filled those holes. So see, I'll try to take this tape off of here. It's coming off of there pretty good. So see, it looks like a knot in there. And obviously I'll have to sand off this part on this side here. But I think I pretty much saved these strips, and without having to cut them off and then scarf in pieces. So I did this. Now these two back here didn't need it. So these 4, of course I put some wax paper down so we didn't glue them to the workbench. And then we did the same thing on this other end up here. We had a similar situation. And except for these 2 little knot holes in each board, we were really clean. And these weren't even really very big. So you see how we got that fixed though. So I think that's going to be a workable answer. I basically just filled the knot holes with thickened epoxy. We'll get those cleaned up and see if we can get a strip on today. If everybody's staying warm and safe. All right, more later. So here's what we're left with. I used a little Sureform Stanley plane and knocked off the high spots around where this epoxy filled in these knot holes. And it's left a little bit of discoloration, I have sanded it with just a sanding block and some 80 grit. But I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna maybe add a little bit of character to it. It kind of looks like, you know, it's in part of the grain. And we basically recreated the knot in the knot hole. So we saved these strips. I don't have to scarf them. See, that's gonna have to be sanded back there anyway. There's packing marks on there. So it'll all be sanded a lot more even when it's back on the boat, but I didn't want to thin these out very much. I still want to maintain my 1/4 inch integrity. This didn't have any. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. If I do it again, I may use my tape and just come a little bit closer to the area that I'm trying to fill rather than just having a big glob on the top of here that I had to knock off and sand off. Because I had tape on the bottom and you see what it looks like there. It just looks like it's a piece of the strip. Cool, eh? Dogs are in here. It's miserable outside. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Also, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.